Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of my podcast where we talk about dental photography, building your professional image, and tools that support the modern dentist, both in the clinic and online. My name is Krzysztof Majchrzak, and I help dentists present themselves and their work in a way that's consistent, aesthetic, and authentic. And today, my special guest is Calinem Popem, dentist, educator, passionate dental photographer, rubber dam enthusiast, and I think most importantly, the creator of fantastic Fixlite softbox system. And I can tell you that this setup has been helping me and probably many other dentists around the world to build their own portfolio of dental photos that truly stand out. Calinem, I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here on my podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I was actually about to enter first and say, wow, what an intro. I wish I wish I would be able to do such a video for my products. And look, there is someone else doing it better than me. How much do you charge for this? I want to hire you.
It was not much. I've ordered the intro online. There are a couple of different freelancers that they do the intro, and it really can give outstanding results, as you can see, because I use the intro all the time, everywhere. I mean, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I recommend it.
So many talented professionals out there.
Sure, and they're all over the world, so it's very easy, to reach them.
And indeed, it seems like we've started with the direct statement of the importance of the way you present yourself. Yeah, I was quite impressed about the quality of the video. So it's like starting with the right foot in any type of collaboration. Yeah, I'm already impressed. And this is maybe one of the main topics that I presume you want to talk about, because nowadays photography, dental photography in general, is like the first tool. You can be the best dentist in the world. If you don't have a way to present yourself at the highest level, at the maximum potential that you can be, is a pity. And you just dilute yourself in the sea of professionals and you don't stand out. So indeed, the quality of the footage, regardless if it's photography or videography, like we've seen in your intro, is absolutely of an immense importance.
Just one more word to our audience. For all of you who are tuning in, I promise this is going to be a really engaging conversation. When two people share the same passion for dentistry and photography, you can be sure that some great insights will come out of it. Plus, if you stay with us till the end, we've got a really nice surprise just for you. So, Calinem, we are after introduction. Are you ready for some questions?
Of course.
So listen, for start, the first question is, when I look at your work, I mean, it naturally comes to my mind question about your photographic background. Is there any photographic background that you have? I mean, did you practice photography as a hobby before, or was dental photography your very first experience with the camera? Did you learn on your own, or did you start with general photography and then dive deeper into this dental photography genre, let's say?
See, I mean, everyone in our generation, that we kind of learned the things on our own, because we didn't have these opportunities that we have nowadays to have webinars, online courses, YouTube videos. So back in the day, you really have to struggle on your own, because there was not so much content available to us. And I've kind of lost track of the moment I first started with photography. I think it must have been with just a family hobby, going in some trips, doing some videos with a GoPro, or shooting with some basic cameras, and the need for using dental photography in the dental office. Indeed, it was back in the day in my old clinic in Romania, when I started to notice the importance of photography in daily work. And I will tell you why, because let me share my screen, because I think I have some footage from my old clinic to really emphasize the importance, because the first moment I understood the window, share the entire screen actually, or the window.
How many years ago was it?
So I moved in, so I was in Romania since 2017. This is my a small clinic just with like 4 rooms. In this video, it's only 2 rooms, but then I extended the clinic to 2 rooms. And I was extremely passionate about capturing, documenting everything. And at that time, I remember I used like an intraoral camera. Let me see if I have
really?
this footage. Yeah, but I was quite disappointed about the quality of the footage. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, for example, sometimes you have some problematic issues and you have this. Let me actually remove this. I think I have also the slide with photography thing. Okay.
So maybe some of our audience don't know.
Everything is live, so I didn't prepare anything. So you should understand the issues.
We haven't like practiced anything before. But what important is that you started your dental photography journey and dentistry in Romania, and then you moved to Dubai, where you are at this point, and you travel around the world with your workshops.
I'm still working, of course, as a dentist, but of course I travel a lot. I'm quite involved with my business. But going back to the question, when photography first started to grab my attention, it was when I was here and I was always photographing with an intraoral camera every case that I was doing, particularly to avoid this type of situations, like managing difficult patients. It's not that in Romania patients were really, especially in my small city where I was practicing, patients were not so claiming. The patients were not difficult, but just from this perspective, or always being safe and always documenting cases, I started to pay attention to the documentation process, which back in the day was done by me with an intraoral camera. And later, my sister, she was an endodontist, and she was always filming. If you see here on the screen, this microscope was connected to a screen, and that was my sister, and I was always encouraged her, you know what, film everything or document or photograph. If you have a crack, if you have a broken instrument, that should be captured. So back in the day, I was disappointed by the resolution of the intraoral cameras, which sometimes they were not at the same level. So then, if you see here, my first camera, it was a Nikon, and with some Nikon flashes, no soft boxes at the time, but they were good enough to help in the process. Because what's happening, for example, like I show you like a small case. For example, let's suppose you are doing an onlay and you have a problematic situation when, let's say you deliver an onlay, everything is fine from all points of view. However, you have like a failure, let's say a pulp reaction. And then you have to remove the onlay and do a root canal treatment and redo the treatment itself. If you don't have the photos to show to the patient what you have done for the patient, it's quite difficult to manage the situation. If you have this type of photos, which they were captured with a professional camera, you can easily go back and say, you know what, hey patient, how are you? Look, I've done everything for you. I work with rubber dam. My preparation was minimally invasive. And you had this type of problem, you had a crack. Now imagine trying to capture this crack with a phone or with an intraoral camera, which is not so high resolution. You can, but not all the time. But with a proper camera, you are able to do that. Then you can just continue and explain the rest of the treatment to the patient to make him understand you have done everything possible in his case. You work with rubber dam, you deliver with rubber dam, everything was clean, and you finalize this case. You don't have to take as many photos as I've taken in this case, but just capture let's say the problematic. So that was my first time when I felt I needed proper photography. before feeling the need of promoting myself, I was in a small city. I was booked 1 month ahead. I didn't have a website at the time. So from this point of view, I didn't feel I should need photography for like building a portfolio or I had a Nokia phone. No, not even, I think iPhone was in Romania in 2000, whatever, 10 or 11, something like that. And this was like 2006, 2007. Yeah, all sorts of different situations. Like for example, this type of situation when the patient accused me that I cracked her tooth while removing the crowns. Luckily, I've done these photos to show that actually the crack occurred when the endodontic treatment was done, which is not done by me. You know, so yeah, I think the first time photography, I realize how important photography in our daily practice is from the medical, like like a forensic doctor that you can be when you demonstrate the cause of our problems. Yeah. So from this point of view.
So let me put it this way: you just wanted to be on this safe side, and
indeed,
the documentation was absolutely the first idea to grab a camera and
indeed,
to like have documented everything very well, like to have some kind of a hedge.
Of course,
doing your work. All right, so things got changed in time, and you've shifted from like ordinary flashlights, which were available on the market many years ago. They are still available, like ring flashes. Then there were twin flashes available on the market. And this, like let's say standard solutions wasn't enough for you. And you've decided to create your own equipment. Why? What was the reason behind it?
To go a bit back, and before reaching this moment, let me share my screen again. With me is always sharing some additional footage to emphasize and to reinforce whatever I have to say. So of course that was the medical point of view. But then I realized, okay, it's nice to kind of collaborate with the lab, in a specific way, because cases like this, to go from start to finish, you cannot just take the impression and let the technician do the steps. Okay, you need to kind of start the case with the proper photography, especially face photography. So then I started to understand the role of face photography. Case like this, when, for example, you start with a very complicated case in which you anticipate the fact that you have to extract all the teeth and do like a full mouth reconstruction. Of course, if you don't start with proper photography, that's the start of a proper smile design. And then it's continued in the 3D design and in the fabrication of the surgical guides and temps and so on. Of course, you're lost. You don't have any reference. So of course, you cannot do something like this when eventually you will have the teeth properly positioned in the face of the patient, so that the entire treatment is facially driven along with the functional role of the teeth. So I realized that the communication with the lab was really important. And then going further, I discovered later the role of the polarizing filters in assessing the shade guide. So let's say the second role in my career, it was lab communication. I understood how important it is to communicate something with the lab, regardless if it's color, if it's the face of the patient, small details in the treatment, transparency, all kinds of information that you can share with your technician. So that was an important role. I was so passionate about this aspect of creating the cross-polarized photography that I even developed some accessories for my products, for Fixlite Twin and for Fixlite Ring. These are some filters that you just attach either inside the saw boxes for the Fixlite Twin setup or directly on the lens for the Fixlite Ring. Again, as some kind of solutions to daily challenges that we have in our work. Because, okay, you have to take some good quality photos, some artistic photos, some, let's say, enhanced from the light point of view. You have this diffusion, but then how do you take these technical photos? with regards to shade matching. So that was the second time. And then, of course, as you start to like it, and you feel the need of more beautiful photos, not only correct photos, decent photos that you can take. And of course, I was influenced by so many dentists back in the day. I even lost track of. But back in the day, it was a fashion that everyone would use papers. They'll put paper, like some paper, or even some soft boxes on the flashes. And I've seen this, and like everyone, we inspire each other. And I didn't invent this. I saw it somewhere else. But then you use it, but then from the technical point of view, it was always a struggle because I used some soft boxes on a photomat bracket. I used to glue them with, you name it, with dual cure material, with elastics, I put even gypsum. I still have the old setups that I had back in the day. And imagine
it's called DIY.
And the photos look nice because the saw box is a saw box. I didn't invent the soft box. The soft box was there before. So the quality of the photos was nice. However, the setup, it was a very annoying structure that was always moving and detaching. And the idea of creating the product, it was after I launched I moved to the UAE. And when I moved in the UAE, then I really felt the need of using photography also for something else, for reinventing myself in front of the patients, for like presenting myself. Because imagine from my clinic where I was booked 1 month ahead, I didn't have any website, no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, like a Nokia 6310 phone, no photos on the phone whatsoever, no intention of promoting myself to grow my practice. I switched to an environment where I was nobody. So then I realized I need to push more from this point of view. I need to use photography to present myself, to promote myself in a way or another. And then I started using Instagram, and I started to look at photography from this point of view. And maybe that was the time when I started to use the papers and soft boxes more often. And then as I launched the Rubber Dam course, which by the way came in my life as some kind of like a saving moment, because don't imagine when I moved in the UAE, I was doing fantastic. I think I've done, from the career point of view, I've done much better in Romania. I moved in the UAE thinking that this is the land of like everything, all possibilities in terms of dentistry, thinking that I'm able to perform only this dentistry, which obviously it wouldn't be a problem to be paid at the highest level. And it wasn't the case, like it's a struggle everywhere in the world, not only here, not only in Romania. I think in Poland is the same. Dentists are fighting for their existence, and it's a struggle. I'm speaking with a lot of colleagues nowadays, and everyone is sharing the same concerns regarding the profession. So anyways, I launched the Rubber Dam course first because of my passion for Rubber Dam and for restorative dentistry, but also it was some kind of escape from the situation I was in, because financially I was struggling. And the Rubber Dam course at the time, because I launched it in the pandemic, it was quite a big success at the time. And it allowed me to step back from the system I was in and kind of refocus my attention towards quality dentistry, passion, photography, Rubber Dam more, and stuff like that. So colleagues were keep on asking me, how do you take the photos in the course?
Okay.
1 time, 2 times. And I was keep on sharing some kind of photos or videos. Look, I have this system, it's improvised. I have this gypsum in imagine that I had the Nikon flashes and the saw box was glued on the flash with dual cure material. Okay.
You know what? we should probably explain why we are going towards soft boxes from this ordinary flashes, because people who are listening to us might do not understand what's the advantage of using soft box.
Yeah.
So can can you tell us,
of course.
in your words,
So
why did you shift it, like from these flashes which are available? You had them, you used them, but they were not enough for you.
So the intention of modifying the light was back in the day when I used not even a softbox, just a paper, just an A4 paper that you can put with Scotch tape. You know this. Everyone was using that back in the day.
Yep. Sure.
And that was not out of too much science that you might know. It's just a common sense that you need to soften the light, because the flesh itself, when you shoot teeth, the teeth are like glass and they reflect the light back in a very harsh way. Yeah.
Okay.
And on the other hand, if you think about it, there is not what we see with our naked eye is not a flash. Yeah. The only time when we see a flash in nature is the thunderstorm. There is no such a thing as a stroboscopic light in nature. We see continuous light, which is diffused by windows, is bounced on the walls. So it's a modified light. Mm-hmm. Now, in our effort to copy that quality of the light, okay, we should modify the light of the flesh. We should soften it. Now there is a limit of what you can do to still make the teeth look natural, because if you do it too much, and this is kind of a fashion to use big saw boxes with very dense structure of the white diffusers, and then the teeth will look like plastic, they will look fake. Maybe that's flattering for like a portrait for face, but for teeth is too much. That's why I kind of like kept on refining the saw boxes of Fixlite until I reached a size and a shape that I think now is when you shoot is kind of representing the reality, with discrete reflection on the line angles of the teeth, showing some transparency, some internal structure of the teeth. So it's somewhere in the middle. It's not harsh light, it's not overly diffused, which I think it will give you fake results. So you need to modify the light, but then you also need to understand what's the limit of that.
So generally speaking, you started with rubber dam.
Yeah.
You did this photography with DIY solutions.
Yes.
And then because people were asking you, what's behind that great photographs, you were thinking
Not only because
So
I was very annoyed about the setup. It was a Photomed bracket, which is, I don't have anything with the company, that they were amazing, but maybe without them dental photography would not exist in the way it's here now. And Nikon flashes and saw boxes glued with dual cure material. My main problem was not the quality of the quality of the light was nice, and the diffusion was the saw boxes that I used back then. They were slightly bigger, so it was maybe overly diffused. The other problem was I was never consistent, because this bracket was always moving. So imagine you take a photo now, and then you might want to take a photo after, let's say, not even 1 year, let's say 6 months after orthodontic treatment or periodontal treatment. Yeah, the photo will not be the same. And I was quite intrigued, because I knew my settings, and I remember I used the same settings every time. What was changing was the position of the lights. So I was literally trying to put some Scotch tape on the bracket to block the movement. So I thought to myself, the light should be fixed in the position. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's fixed light.
Exactly.
So the name is not just
for the name behind it.
Yeah, the name, of course, is not fixed light. It's a kind of Fixlite. It's fixed light. It's like you pronounce it in the same way. So I also wanted to do something for me, first of all, and then adding to this the fact that so many colleagues, they will keep on asking, okay, how do you take the photos in the rubber dam course? Then I came up with the idea to do it, and of course it was a long way. You cannot imagine, because back in the day,
it's a great story, which obviously I will ask you for it, but I can tell you one thing, that I probably mentioned that when we've met during PASE meeting, when your advertisement came to Facebook and I saw it, I thought that my dream came true, because the equipment that you've designed was the one that I was having in my mind back in the day when I was younger, and I was looking for something like that, and I was also struggling with some DIY solutions, which
Like
obviously
everyone.
were a pain in my butt.
Yeah.
And I'm also
yeah.
wondering why big brands who produce this kind of equipment, soft boxes for photographers, they haven't thought that it might be also helpful for us dentists.
I will tell you, because
So,
for them,
strange.
the market is very small. It's a very niched product. Imagine from all the medical professionals, now we are talking only about dentists, which is a small segment compared with everyone. From dentistry, remove the endodontist, remove we keep the maybe restorative dentist, aesthetic dentist, orthodontists, surgeons, not so much, although now there is an increase in interest also in surgery. So you shrink it even more. Then from here, you shrink it more, saying that, you know what, from all these colleagues, maybe 10% are passionate about photography. The other ones, maybe they don't care, they are tired, they don't consider photography, they don't have time for that. So it's extremely niched. So that's why it's not so interesting for a big company like Nikon or Canon to do such a small category. Yeah, they only focus on broad, on the bigger picture, and to sell for everyone. A camera is for everyone. Yeah, for
Exactly.
dental,
Exactly.
for a photographer, for a macro photographer, for a wedding photographer, for just a hobbyist, and so on.
So,
Yeah.
Colin, I think let's share your screen. Would you show us the equipment and tell us a little bit more, about the whole story behind creating this development process? I mean, did it come naturally, or what challenges did you face along the way of creating it? Because you've mentioned that it was not easy. It was a long journey, to get from first generation, which I already purchased, to third generation, which I already also have here, just to show
so
you.
much.
I'm really, really glad to have this equipment. So, share some insights on that, because I'm really, really interested. How did you do it?
So basically, the whole idea is, because I repeat myself, I didn't invent the softboxes. Yeah. By the way, I started with Fixlite Twin. What I wanted, it was a way to mount everything on the camera and on the flashes in the most solid way possible. That's why the bracket is fixed. It doesn't move. However, these softboxes can rotate from here to the inside. So you can shoot in two different scenarios. When you keep the softboxes parallel, this is ideal for shooting anterior teeth, to have those reflections on the line angles. And then when you shoot posteriors or in the mirror, you just rotate the softboxes inward to have the light directed towards the mouth. Now, of course, to produce the bracket, there is a fast release couple on the. Let me see if I can have to share. Let me just stop this sharing and share again to share my website. Okay, share, present. This is share the screen. Let me share the entire screen, because on the website I have more. By the way, everyone who wants more information from me, everything is on my website. It's not only about photography, it's about courses, my activities, and so on. So if I go to Fixlite Twin, because here we can see it better. So there is a bracket with a fast release, so you can solidly connect the camera. You don't have that screw that's always detaching. You have a plate, you put it on the base of the camera. It's fitting any camera in the world. Any camera in the world has a small mounting hole on the base, yeah? Because I'm get asked a lot. I'm get asked, okay, is my camera compatible? That's not an issue. The compatibility is about the flashes, because for each flash there is a small connector on the side, yeah, which is different for each flash. And I've done this connection for almost everything available on the planet: Godox MF12, Nikon R1C1, Meike, which is like some very similar with Nikon, Canon MT24X, Yonnuo, which is the copy of Canon, and some other flashes which are not so popular, like Canon EL100, Canon 270X. So everything that's on the market is covered in terms of you just go here and you just choose your flash. And for example, if I've chosen Canon 270X, it's a different connector here. Yeah. If I choose the Canon, so you can use any camera. However, Fixlite is customized for your flash. Now, imagine to produce this from zero. I didn't have any collaborators back in the day. I used to go in Dubai and look in the factories where to produce the bracket, where to produce the fasteners, the screws. I started from nothing. I didn't have any knowledge or any collaborators in this field. And back in the day, I invested a lot in product and research and development. I lost track of how many, like I think I exceeded $100,000 only in the R&D. And then when I was about to start to launch the product, I literally realized I ran out of cash and I didn't have any money to continue. So I've done all the R&D, but then to start selling, I didn't have any cash. I ended up selling my car and my watch just to be able to do that. So it was like nice story. It's not that, okay, I had some investments back in the day. It's not that I was broke, but I didn't have any liquidities at the time. So since then, I'm not wearing any watch. And of course, I bought another car, but at least the watch, I never had the chance to buy another watch. Yeah, and I started and it picked up really well because, as you said, it's kind of answering to the prayers of so many colleagues in the world, which they wanted something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And since then, what I noticed, and maybe if you notice, if you just scroll on my Instagram page, and if you see some stories once in a while, the colleagues are happy about it. This is what's making me also happy. They are opening the package. They are filming like a small unboxing video. So they are showing their happiness about the product, which is something quite rare to see nowadays. No,
Yes,
I mean, you see people opening their iPhones
it's really high quality.
Yeah, but apart from the quality of the product, the joy about like when they receive it, they open the box and they do a small story. I don't ask them to do that. However, of course, I'm extremely happy when I see this, and I always repost it and I share the same joy. But it seems that there is something about the product that's kind of touching some some emotions. The people are really happy about the product because it's not the product itself; it's about the joy that brings you that brings further. Yeah, because you use it to enhance your profession, to enhance your skills, to capture some nice photos in the dental office. So it became some kind of, let me say it in a way, it became the token of fine dentistry, if I can say this. Yeah. Is like a token of fine dentistry. It's not the photography, it's the beautiful dentistry that you can shoot with this. So this is the perception I have about the product. Like Nike is not selling shoes, it's showing the willing to succeed. Yeah, just do it. Fixlite is not a saw box or a bracket, is the joy of shooting dental photography.
Yeah,
it's the joy of doing
it's a solution.
proper.
It's a solution, right?
Yeah.
It's just a tool. It's just a tool for solutions that many dentists around the world was like having in mind for many, many years. So tell me, you use extensively your soft boxes for marketing purposes, right?
As I told you, since I moved in the UAE, I needed that. I needed to like re-promote myself, make myself known in front of the patients. Yeah. For example, if I just share the screen again, like what I
do you think that this kind of pictures are more visual for our potential patients than, for example, pictures done with other flashes?
See, what I used to do back in the day, I used to do like a PDF file which contained a few slides, something like this, me, the name of the clinic, and just a few cases that are showing some before and afters, which are really impactful for the patient. The patient who's seeing a before and after like that, these photos are like more than 1,000 words, yeah. And then what I'm doing in the office, I used to use these photos to explain all the potential problems that the patient had, like talking about, for example, a patient had a improperly contoured contact. I had a photo which is similar to his problem to show it to him and to emphasize the importance of redoing the restoration and restoring a proper contact point. Then, for example, if a patient had like some old amalgam restorations, I had that photo with me available to explain. So communication with the patient was immense. Like back in the day in my clinic, I used to just draw on a piece of paper. But then in the UAE, I felt that I need more enhanced imagery to impress the patient and to show the sequence of the treatment and so on. So of course, and not only that, in the getting the acceptance of the patient, imagine a case like this where you would explain to the patient the importance of minimally invasive dentistry, the biomimetic dentistry, when you have the chance to explain to the patient that you're not shaving the enamel, you're not doing a crown, despite the fact that the tooth is cannot treated, you are doing some minimally invasive restoration, which is an overlay that's only replacing the missing part of the tooth. How much you can talk when you have a photo like this in front of you. Or for example, you have a patient who's complaining about bleeding gums. When you have a photo like this to show, you know what, we are doing really a minimal preparation and we are not shaving the tooth. When I deliver the veneers, they are not overhanging and I put the rubber dam and everything is clean, and you will not have excess of cement under the gums. You will not have any gaps. You will not have food accumulation, plaque build up. So you will not have bleeding gums like you think you might have. So when you have a photo like this, it's very easy to communicate. Yeah. Maybe this is even better, yeah? When you show a margin like this, when you show the anticipation of the veneer closing here, not being overhanging, not accumulating, not plaque and so on, then it's very easy to communicate with the patient. So I use the photos extensively, and what I'm doing, I have these PDF files, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, how many slides? Maybe like 10, 12 slides from start to finish with from simple to complex cases. And then I will eventually tell my receptionist to share it with the patient on WhatsApp. So I'm using the same photos that I used in my examination process in the first visit, yeah, when you have the chance to sit down with the patient and explain everything. And the same photos will go on the patient WhatsApp, and this will act like a hypnotic trigger, and it will bring back all the information that you shared during the visit, because it's overwhelming for the patient. Yeah, you explain a lot, and when you share the same photo, this is triggering back the discussion that you, or later on, the patient will come. Imagine you have a case, the patient is on the chair and you have to do like, you think you are doing an MOD composite. However, in the middle of the treatment, it transforms into the scenario of the onlay. If you didn't have the chance to explain what's an onlay to the patient, it's very hard to do that in the middle of the treatment. The patient is with a rubber dam on her face. So it's likely that you will do the composite despite the fact that it's a compromise, just because you didn't have the chance to explain. So I can talk hours and hours about the importance of the photography, to have the patient down and discuss. I devoted my first visit is only with the patient, because now the patient, this is what the patients are saying in their face every day. Yeah? Glossy, colorful, full resolution videos, that's overwhelming, and their the limit is so high now. You have to be above that limit. You cannot do what I've done back in the day to just take a piece of paper or explain with my hands. This is impossible. Now we need to be more convincing.
So having photographs, having this in your toolbox really increases your acceptance of treatment plans that you do.
Exponentially.
So it also means that you are growing your practice.
Of course.
And it also increases your income, for sure.
Of course. Without a doubt.
This is one way of marketing directly when the patient comes to you. But how can you use your photographs to market for patients that want to hear about you? Do you use internet for that? Do you share your cases online to get other patients that don't know anything about you and your services?
See what's happening. Maybe I'm not the best example for this. If you want to have examples like that, you can take Dr. Appa or I don't know, like Duval, which are practicing here, and they only have before and afters. My Instagram page is more oriented towards colleagues, towards dentists, because of the nature of what I'm doing more. It's the photography business, courses. So I'm if you notice, I'm sharing a lot of videos with some technical stuff, which for patients are not so interesting. Okay, I admit I have some patients who they pay attention to this and they come to me saying, I'm not sure what you are doing there for like 15 minutes, but I saw the rubber dam, I saw how clean it was, and you were so meticulous, so I want to come to you. And I also saw the comments of other dentists that they were admiring your work, so I come to you. So, but that's like, like the quality fanatic patients, which I might prefer to have, if you ask me. But in general, if your page is devoted to the patients, like it should be, for dentists, not dentist to dentist, dentist to patients, of course, it's extremely important to show your work. The Instagram now is the new website. People are not even looking on the websites nowadays, if you admit. Websites are so like general. The Instagram is the environment. Or even what I'm doing, this PDF file that I share on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is very personal, and it's very easy to share with friends. You have it on your WhatsApp. Imagine the patient might meet her husband later, and you know what? Let me show you. I've seen the dentist, they send me from the reception this and that. Look how he's working. Look at the knife case. What's the blue thing? It's a rubber dam. He explained everything is clean. So you spread yourself through these mediums. So nowadays, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, I think they're more important than the website itself. Of course, on the website, really, you should have your main, everything gathered, your main informations. Yeah, that's the business.
So these days, when you are a young dentist who graduate studies, because I'm a lecturer, so I have many young dentists who are very close to graduate, and they are asking me like how can we success quicker than after many years. And I would say for them that photography is one of the possible solutions to have this success, to gather the group of patients that they want to treat with a proper use of a good quality photographs. Do you think it's like a good recommendation?
You are right in one way, and there is one other thing that we should add to, and it makes sense to what you have said. So it's about expediting, expediting the process, finding the shortcut to success, because it's normal for the younger generation not to have the same. And you know what? It's something remarkable that we, like you said, you're a lecturer. I also travel a lot for lectures. It's amazing the fact that we can share and we can help other colleagues go faster to our success than our long path that we had. And I will come back to the subject, just a short explanation. And this is something that I'm showing in my presentation. I'm showing a lot of like photos of mine explaining about the rubber dam, and all the photos are clean and like with this white background, like you have seen like a few minutes ago. And then I stop on one photo, and I stop on that photo, and I say to the audience, you know what? You were mistaken to believe that this is my photo amongst all the other photos, which were indeed my photos. But this photo is not mine, but it looked the same. Let me see if I have it actually, because this is nice to say.
That's a nice story. Really. I'm really interested to hear that.
Let me see if I have it. I hope I have it. I have it. So I present and I showed this and that, and I explained how nice is to have rubber dam and photography, these are my two pillars that are making they're making my day beautiful. Okay, I'm enjoying my work because of these two pillars. These are for me. For surgeon, it's something else. Maybe it's the quality of the stitching. I don't know, like something else. For me, I have rubber dam and photography, which are beautifying what I see in daily work. These are not photographs that are taken in the, like produced photography. This is daily work. I've delivered some veneers. I saw the drop of the water. I liked what I saw. I photographed. So I show in my presentation. I show this sequence of photography, and then.
Excuse me, Calin. Are you sharing the proper image at this point?
Am I not sharing? Let me share again.
Yeah, because what I saw was your like a video, only a video, a snapshot of video of your dental office. Yeah.
Let me share again.
Yeah.
How is it now? Just a second.
Let me see. Yeah, I can see a rubber dam with a clamp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me go back. So in my presentations, to go back to this, to the idea of how beautiful is that we have the chance nowadays to expedite the journey of younger colleagues. Because this happened to me. I shared all these photos and I stop not on this photo, I stop on this photo. And ask the audience, you know what? You thought this is my photo, yeah? Because it's the same like all my other photos. And this is not my photo. This is a photo of a colleague from Iraq who attended my course, bought Fixlite, and took both of my courses of rubber dam and photography. And I asked him, in how much time was he able to do this? Because I knew his level, yeah? When he came to the course, he was not into photography. His knowledge were about zero about rubber dam, and he was able to achieve this in 1 year. This is remarkable, yeah? Because back in the day, I lost track of how many years since I've started to use rubber dam since the university. How many clamps, how many sheets, how many failures. Then I give up, and then I started again. And it was a struggle, yeah? Because we didn't have access to the content.
Oh my.
So this is something that I really appreciate. When back in the day, like 2 days ago, I just received a message. Hey, this is Dr. wherever from Senegal. I just want to thank you because you changed my professional life. That's it. I was waiting for another message, like he wants me to ask me something. No, it was just that. So this is something to appreciate, not the admiration that you can get for your photos or for your work. This is nothing. Yeah, this is just it's in vain. The fact that you can have an impact in helping someone, like you said, to expedite the journey, to shorten their frustration period and so on. So this is something remarkable, and I truly appreciate. And going back to your affirmation, yes, photography has an immense role in that. And not only that, it helps you to promote yourself, but photography is our biggest critic. Why now, after I launched my rubber dam course, and it was in 2020, yeah, in the pandemic, and now it's 5 years. And I was so proud of the course back then. I was like, this is the best thing that I can do. And now I look back to the photos and I say, oh my God, I need to change that. This is not so nice. Well, I see the flaws. Why back in the day I was proud, and now I want to go back and I will do it. You don't believe it? I will go back and refurbish the entire course. Why? Because all these 5 years I was keep on shooting, and when I was shooting, I was keep on improving because I see this is not polished properly. This margin is not properly prepped. This is that. So you don't realize, but you incrementally get better day by day. So going back to the young colleagues, yes, photography, not only that it helps you be successful faster because you promote your work, but your work should be worthy to promote it. So you get better as a dentist if you photograph and photograph and photograph. This is the fastest way to evolve, to have a tool that will always criticize you every day, every step of your journey.
Calin, when you travel around the world, when you take part in conferences regarding dental, various different genres of dentistry, you see different lectures with their different presentations. And what can you tell about their photography? Because in my own opinion, they show a very, very bad quality photographs internationally. So can you tell me, because your photography is really, really characteristic, can you tell us, what do you think high quality dental photography look like? What are the key features, of high quality dental photography is? Because I think that people don't know exactly what it means. And
Indeed. So sometimes you're right. I will share the screen again. So let me share the entire screen now, not to share, hopefully not something compromising from my laptop. So indeed, sometimes I see very nice dentistry, because you can see it, yeah, but the level of photography doesn't do the justice of the dentistry that is shown. So, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously you recognize the
sad.
quality of, yeah. So, but it's not so often nowadays, because dentists, they caught up with the quality of the photos. I cannot say I see it. Maybe some old colleagues, yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
I was trying to find something like that will make sense, but I'm not sure if I find it now. For example, so many colleagues are still using a ring flash, yeah.
Yes.
Which is doing the most disservice to the photography. Let me see if I found this is the rubber dam presentation. That's why I don't find it. Let me go back to the photography one. And when I launched Fixlite, I was going back to the story. When I launched Fixlite Twin, I was always criticizing the ring flash, and I had so many colleagues who were asking me, "Okay, Calinem, you have this, but what about me? Because I have a ring flash." And I always is saying, "You know what? Just throw it in the garbage, because it's giving you these reflections." And then, because I was, okay, if you want to acknowledge something, this is an invention. And actually this was like, it's patent pending. It was approved in the WIPO, in the World International Patent Office. The fact that I've transformed the ring flash in a twin flash. So this is something that the first one, the Fixlite Twin, was just an improvement of the mounting solution. Yeah, it was not an invention itself. I just improved a solution that exists on the market. But then I came up with the idea of transforming the ring flash, which it's giving you some really bad photography.
Exactly.
I transform it in a twin flash by using this type of bracket, which is totally atypical. I don't think you have seen such a softbox on the market, and it's this softbox in softbox solution, which is diverting the light toward the light angles in such a way that you don't know now which is which. Yeah. So this is the twin, and this is the ring. Why? Because the light will come from the same position from here. So basically the light is diverted from here, from the ring flash, in the confinity of the softboxes, is going here, is reflecting back, and one more time back in the softbox. So I see, going back to your question, I see so many colleagues who they have a high quality of dentistry, and you see the results. The results are so nice, but the photography doesn't do the justice of the quality of the treatments, and that's mainly because they are still stuck in using just a ring flash, or maybe a twin flash, which is mounted on the small circle on the camera, and you don't have this quality of the photos. And not only that, maybe there is some lack in knowledge of how to use the camera. I see a lot of inconsistency. For example, they are using the white balance on auto maybe, and sometimes the color temperature is shifting. And if you're not aware of these things, it's a pity, because you have good dentistry, but you have to show it in a specific way. You have to be consistent. You have to be able to shoot a photo now, and after maybe 1 year after you finish the treatment, to have the same photo. And this is the power of Fixlite, regardless if it's Fixlite Twin or Ring. if I have my softboxes here on a fixed bracket, okay, I can rotate, but in some replicable positions, yeah? If I rotate it here, it will stay here every time. If I rotate it here, it will stay here every time. It's not a extensible bracket, which one time is here, 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 here. It's an infinity of positions.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have this chance to always reproduce the position of the lights, if I'm shooting from the same distance, how? We have these macro lenses. Of course, if you shoot buccal commissure to buccal commissure, or if you use the ratio on the lens, but I don't prefer that. I prefer to have some anatomical reference, yeah? When I shoot close-up smile, the limit of what I see in the viewfinder is buccal commissure to buccal commissure, 5 millimeters left and right. After 1 year, I go back to the same patient. I respect the same distance by framing the same buccal commissure thing, and the lights will be in the same position. So the distribution of the light on the face, on the lips, on the teeth of the patient will be the same. Of course, if you keep the flashes on manual, full power, which is what I'm doing in my setup, but also to maintain all the settings of the camera on manual. Like, for example, the color temperature that I was talking about. If it's on auto, it's always shifting. You'll have one photo more towards a yellowish tint and the second photo more towards a bluish appearance, which is not nice to have. So you can have very nice dentistry because you recognize it, you see it, you admit it, but then the photography is not at the same level. So maybe that's the definition of Fixlite, this consistency. You block everything you fix it, yeah, Fixlite. You fix it in a way that's always reproducible. And with Fixlite ring is the same. You even cannot move the softboxes, yeah? You're forced to be in the same position.
Exactly. So fixed, does it mean only the source of light and the position of light?
Of course.
But also it means the whole settings of the camera, which needs to be fixed permanently. Of course, you do some adjustments depending on the type
but in a really small range.
Exactly.
Then the photography is not so complicated in this regard. We are very limited to the settings that we can do.
Exactly.
But you have to understand them, because you have to understand the fact that from the flashes you should use the manual mode, because if you leave everything on auto, you'll never be consistent. Okay, if you move everything on manual, it becomes an equation of factors. Yeah, you have the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO, you have the power of the flashes, the distance, the angle. Everything is like it's the most complex equation. So what I'm teaching in my course is how from this complex equation you can simplify everything. Block the power of the flash on 1/1, don't change it. Depending on how you use it. If you use it on the ring, it's not 1/1, it's 1/8. But anyway, calibrate it to your kit. Shutter speed, block it on 1/200, don't never change it. So eliminate one by one, because I'm not doing a photography course now here, it will be too long. Eliminate all these possibilities of changes up to the point when you are just limited to maybe aperture and ISO, and that's it. And just find your proper exposure in the process.
You know that people do tend to simplify things. And what I can tell people, not to choose might think that, choosing that, which is a little bit like intimidating. It's kind of, it's a big tool, a little bit heavy.
But this is the first model. The new model is smaller.
Yeah, I know. But I like the previous one, the soft boxes. The bracket is new, but the soft boxes are the previous one. I like bigger soft.
Okay, good.
So it's me that I decided to leave it. But what can we tell to people? Why do they want sometimes to choose their iPhones to do their photography instead of big chunky soft boxes with heavier equipment? I know the answer, but how can we argument that it's not a great photography, but for some people iPhone gives a perfect image.
For them, maybe.
What can you say? Yeah, for them. Yeah, I know.
In their opinion, in their perception.
Yes,
See,
exactly.
You don't see guys from Hollywood shooting on iPhones. They have this shot on iPhone thing, but
Yeah,
I know what's behind. They are using DOF adapters to put this. The iPhone is just the screen in that setup. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you hear shot on iPhone and you see all these Hollywood grade movies, that's not an iPhone. It's an adapter, and you put the lens like this on an iPhone, and then there's not an iPhone anymore. It's just the iPhone is just the screen and the processing unit of the device. So you'll never see the Hollywood guys shooting on small devices. They have this ARRI cameras, which are huge. Yeah,
Huge.
the gears is heavy gear. We don't have to go to that extreme, of course. We don't have to be crazy, but there is a range in which you can be professional. And unfortunately, they don't make this gear smaller. A macro lens is a macro lens, yeah?
Sure.
This is the one of the newest cameras ever, yeah? So the macro lens is this, the camera is this.
A little bit
This is not,
sturdy as well.
this is not light.
No.
If they could make it smaller, believe me, they will make it. But there is an internal structure of this lens and the glass inside that you have to use. They are making the body smaller, but also there is a limit in how small do you want to make the body. But then why to make it so small that you cannot grab it in your hand?
There is no ergonomic here.
So on the other hand, we as dental photographers, we are not wedding photographers. We are not professional photographers. We just spend maybe 2-3 minutes to do an intraoral protocol, and that's it. Imagine a wedding photographer. They're staying from the morning to the evening with 2-3 cameras in hand, changing lenses, doing this and that. So these guys should complain about how heavy is the gear, not dentists. So let me just conclude like that. If you want this high-level professional type of photography, you have to sacrifice you have to do an effort. You have to hold a heavier gear. You have to have this bulky setup, because this is the only way to get that level of photography. Now, if you're happy with an iPhone and with you can just use these lights on the phones, and you can get decent photos with the equipment that you can use for the phones nowadays. But the main problem of the phone is that they have wide lenses. Yeah, I think the tightest lens is like 50 millimeter or something like that in focal length. So it's not 100 like we have on the cameras. So you'll always have this dimensional discrepancies that you have. You will see they're shooting the smile and the photo is like really wide. Yeah, they're using the 24 millimeter lens from the phone. So of course you'll have properly lit photo if you are using a smile line or other tools to have some light with the phone. But the photo, if you put it side by side, it's not there. So depending of what kind of dentist you want to be. Do you want to be the quality fanatic that's only having this type of photos and he's consistent with the photos that he's taking, or you want to be the phone photography dentist?
I can tell you that I also own Smile Line as well.
Yeah.
But
it's a great tool. The Smile Line is something that
right.
saved the phone, if you ask me. It saved the phone. Yeah?
Exactly. But still, if you compare it one to another, I mean, I always choose.
It's better than nothing.
Equipment.
I know, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, not to have any photo. It's better to have something with your phone and some kind of source of light. That's good.
Calinem, tell me something about your editing process. I mean, the photos always require some sort of editing. I mean, do you make strict selections of photography that you put into public or for lectures? Can you tell us a little bit?
I think I'm the worst person to get asked about this, and I'll tell you why.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know how to use Lightroom, although I should how to use it. I barely know how to use a few features from Photoshop. Maybe just the liquify function. That's something that I used back in the day for other photos, not dental photography. The only editing that I'm doing is in Keynote. I'm just cropping the photos, and I'm just maybe adding slight adjustments to the exposure. So where I focus is better to have good photos to start with, because I'm also like very rarely I'm shooting raw nowadays. It's just because I don't have time. I don't like to edit. Yeah. Maybe I shoot raw. For example, if I have like a really important shooting. For example, I shot something for Dentistry Sirona, and I needed like to have the raw photos. Or maybe sometimes they are requested because when you publish something, you need to have the raw material. So that's maybe the only reason I'm using raw. Otherwise, it's just occupying space on my card. I don't look at it. I just take the JPEG. I upload it in Keynote, and I change the angle. I crop it. Maybe I put 2 photos on the side to make it the same frame, stuff like that. Really basic editing. But I have a good photo to start with. It's properly exposed. The colors are accurate because I use the proper picture profile. The color temperature is properly set, is calibrated. So when you do this type of photography, you don't have to edit so much. And this is something, if you ask me, this is the way to do it for dentists. Who has time after seeing 10 patients per day to take the photos, to edit, and to do this and that? You don't have this time, yeah. Okay, if you have the time, shoot raw and just use Lightroom and Photoshop, and you can do more edits. But also, there is not so much editing in dental photography that we have to do, because we need to show the real thing, yeah? If you over-edit, it's becoming fake. If you saw my photos, they are really clear. There is no editing in the photos, yeah?
Exactly.
And I'm not doing these photos with fruits in the mouth and all this, like... This is nice, but I don't have a supermarket where I sell fruits. I have a dental office, yeah? So
sure.
maybe it's nice. I admire. Of course, I see colleagues doing that, and I admire the skill of doing that. Yeah, the photographic skill. But maybe that's not my style. What I want to promote is pure dental photography.
So, what about the cases that you show? Because I do think that people do like to see these general makeovers of someone's dentition, these veneer cases, all ceramic cases. So are those the one that you choose to show, or other cases as well?
See, if I think about it, recently I focused a lot of like posterior dentistry. I'm quite passionate about this biomimetic dentistry and restoring quadrants. Maybe because there is more rubber dam involved in the process and so on. So I cannot say I have a preference about what cases to show. Whatever case I have, and I think it's... Because, again, to go back to my incentive, what I'm sharing on Instagram is mainly, if you go back and scroll back to my days when I was more active towards restorative dentistry, is about tips and tricks to help colleagues, yeah? How to prep, how to put the rubber dam, how to do this and that. It's full. My videos are full of tips and tricks, and this is what I want to show. Going back to the idea of helping other colleagues, younger colleagues, to expedite the process towards fulfillment in their career. Yeah, I enjoy helping. Yeah, I'm not sharing this to ask for admiration. I just share it just to help. This is natural, and of course, from there maybe. There is kind of like a funnel towards my channels, and of course everything is cross-promoting each other, from photography to courses and so on. So I don't have a criteria of what to show. Now, if you ask me about, maybe I'm not the best example, but for a dentist who doesn't have, his priority is not showing cases to other dentists, more to showing cases to the patients, of course you need to be impactful in this direction. If your office is oriented towards cosmetics, like I have a friend of mine from Australia, and she does a lot of dentistry, but she's only posting anterior cases before and afters, because this is what she wants to do.
Exactly.
Of course, you should focus on that. So I'm not the best example in this regard, because I'm posting everything that I see interesting. I have an anterior case, I place the clamp over a margin, deep margin, whatever I was experiencing that day. I find it interesting, I will post that.
Yeah.
But indeed, you have to be consistent in what you want to be. Are you a restorative dentist? Are you an orthodontist? It's good to be consistent on your channel and to always promote. And now we go back to the consistency. Now it's also nice to be consistent, to use the same gear, same exposure. You cannot have a before and after, and the before photo is taken with a phone, and the after with a nice Fixlite or whatever camera you have. And you can have the best after result if the before is not at the same level, because some dentists, they say, you know what, I don't care about the before. Let's make the before ugly. The after is important. It's not like that. On the contrary, you are only pro when you are able to show two photos, before and after, which both of the photos are lit in the same way, same exposure, and the only difference between the two photos is your result, your impact in that case. You didn't change the lips of the patient, yeah? Or maybe you did, I don't know. But anyway, if you talk about dentistry, it's nice to see only the crown lengthening, only the veneers, only the result of the orthodontic treatment in that before and after. So I think you are pro only if you are able to do that. In terms of photography, not in terms of dentistry. You can be the best dentist in the world. I repeat myself.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with that. So, Colin, can you shed some light on what you are working on?
No.
What you are planning to develop? But you're working on something, and something is coming on the market.
So my eyes going like that,
yeah. Yes, I can see that
there is something is coming. Something is coming really soon.
Good, that's good.
And
that's
although
good.
I cannot share,
I'm really interested. All right.
Although I cannot share, I can share something. It's something again that's coming to solve issues. That's coming to help. Because everything I've done, I've done first of all for me, yeah. So, for example, I was facing an issue like I was working in Dubai in a very big clinic, huge room. I didn't have any issues to use for portrait photography. So for intraoral photography, I had my Fixlite. For portrait, I didn't need anything because I had huge saw boxes. It was a huge room. Yeah. Then I moved back to Abu Dhabi in a small clinic, and the room was small. That was the moment I developed Fixlite Portrait. Smaller saw boxes that can be used with the same flashes. So everything that made sense from my perspective. What was my struggle there? And of course, it's the struggle of so many other colleagues. Yeah, not everyone has a huge room. Not everyone has a studio. So Fixlite Portrait came to help in the process. Small room, same flashes. If they're wireless, you just move the flash, so it's very economical, yeah? Light, small tripods, you put it on the side. And now what I'm doing, this is something that I can share with you. I'm even doing some small adapters that they have the same shape of the bracket. So then you can remove the saw box of the Fixlite Twin and attach it on the tripod. So then you can ask me why I'm killing my own product, yeah, the portrait. Because this is what I'm doing, literally. Because the photos are really nice. I don't think like that. I don't think as a company who has sheets about profits and losses and stuff like that. I think about how I can help the dentist. If this is something that makes sense in a dentist office, not to invest in another kit, use the same saw box, just detach the screw like 1, 2, 3, put it on a tripod, same bracket, put it back. I'm happy with that. And then eventually the portrait kit will become a product of convenience when you can say, you know what, I don't have time to move anything. Just give me 2 saw boxes there, 1 in my office, and just move the camera. But I have to be honest in this regard and to promote it like that, not to sell. I'm not selling, I'm proposing the solution. So you can have this, you can move it. I've done my best to squeeze all the features from this device. You can use it like that. Or you can also have the portrait kit. Don't remove anything, just take your camera. So this is what I'm doing, finding solutions that are practical, affordable, and solutions that make sense for me as a dentist, first of all. the business that is coming from as a byproduct of whatever I'm doing. I'm not thinking about the profit to start with. I'm thinking about the product.
And it is why that you are so successful person, in my own opinion.
Thank you.
Because you focus on the results. You're not focusing on business and money. And I think that it's a side effect. Money is a side effect of what we do as dentists, what we do as photographers.
Not only in photography, also in our work. If you focus on the result, on the medical gesture that you're doing. It happened in my career. I had a period when I was so stressed about the money. I had a lot of like loans. And then I always thought about how much money did I make today is not enough for me to pay the loan. And I was immensely stressed. And then I had a period when I said, you know what, whatever happens, it happens. I will take my time. I will do this case properly. I will put my passion about in this. I will enjoy what I'm doing. I was 3 times, 4 times more successful than the days when I was counting the money. So this is, I think this, I didn't discover this. This is generally known in all fields.
Yeah, it's a mind blowing. It's a mind blowing. How can you like change your life just in the way, changing the way of how you are thinking about what you do?
If you think about money, is not going anywhere. For example, back in the day, I used to be, and I'm still very honest with a patient. For example, a patient would come to me from another dentist. Hi, how are you? I need 10, 12 crowns. I need a second opinion. And I look at him, man, you just need maybe 2 crowns, and the other, like I can just do some composites, some like ortho, whitening, cleaning, whatever, and you're fine. And he told me, why you don't want to make money? I said, because I don't have to do so many crowns. And he told me, but now you are doing money only on 2 crowns, not on 12. I said, your math is good, but is not correct. And I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the treatment, I will do only 2 crowns, but you will acknowledge my honesty towards you. And you would recommend me 20, 30 patients that will need maybe 1 crown. So instead of 12 crowns, I will do maybe 60. Which was actually true. Every time it functioned in this way.
Exactly. This is what happens in real life. This is what happens in real life.
You have to be honest with colleagues, with patients, with
yourself as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely great conversation. Calinem, we've already passed one hour. So I've got one more question for you. All right. So tell me, having Fixlite system, have you got any like tips for creative ideas, like for using Fixlite system to a little bit market yourself online, to show your work a little bit better? Is there something that you can share with us? Maybe you've discovered it on your own by using it extensively.
I mean, other than the things that I'm promoting already, I don't think I know. There's not something that I can keep in my sleeve. It's a secret only for me. You know me already. Everything I'm sharing everything I know. So of course you can be creative. I mean, there are a lot of ways to. If you scroll on my Instagram, you will see a lot of photos with white background. So maybe this is
for example,
the most this is like the signature photo that you might recognize amongst my photos.
Because when I'm asking you that question, I'm thinking about like the opportunity to detach the soft boxes separately, one from another. And you can detach it from the camera. You can move it all around. By moving it all around, you get various different visual effects that you can get.
If you do this, and I encourage you, if you have time and patience and skills and passion to do that, then you lose the consistency, but then you go into the artistry, and then it's never ending, man. I mean, you can put a softbox here, ceramics like that, from the bottom, So if we go in this direction, we will devote 2 more hours to this podcast.
Yes, because it's a show off. It's a show off. It's not a documentation. It's not consistency, as you've mentioned, but it's something
that's
works
artistic
well.
dentistry. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's very visual stuff,
Indeed.
which might help to get patients, which obviously everyone wants.
let me try to share my screen for the last time, just to hopefully I can catch some examples of what you just said. Yes, this type of photos with white background is something that I'm really passionate about. Yeah, because first of all, in the composition of the photo, it gives you some space to put something else. Yeah. When you have a photo with the white background, you can put a title, you can put a logo, you can put a photo of you. So it gives you, it gives you like a lot of opportunities to create. So see, this is the editing that I'm doing. Okay, this is an already edited photo. It's just Keynote. So of course, when it gives you this.
Can we share a screen?
Am I not sharing the screen? Should I start again or?
At this moment, you are sharing screen.
Okay, so going back, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, so I was saying this. When you have these photos with white background, you really have a lot of freedom to create, to put titles, to put a logo. So maybe that's something that I use extensively in my work, because you see all my photos with a white background with rubber dam are shot in the same way. And then let me see if I have the other case with rubber dams. Yeah, again, see? And if you ask me about tips and tricks, you notice that in almost all my photos, the light is on the clamps, yeah?
Yes.
See here? I'm not happy if I don't see this. This is an obsession of mine. I do this by holding the third softbox from the other side. I started the continuous light, because this, for example, the Godox flashes have this continuous light, and then you see the reflection of that continuous light in the clamp, and you position the other softbox until you see this reflection, and only then you shoot.
What's the power of this Godox light that is behind the patient?
It
What's
should
the
always be
ratio?
half. Yeah, for example, if the main flashes are full power, which they are, this is 1/2 or 1/4. Otherwise, it's overpowering the main flashes. Yeah. So yeah, tips like that. This is my preference, but I cannot say I go beyond this level of artistry. Although you could. I mean, you can. Let me see if I have some photos with the lab works. I'm not sure if I have them here.
For example, I do like pictures with dark background. This white is extra.
Yeah,
it's great,
this is
but
nice.
Dark background, is still fantastic.
This is nice, and this is quite
nice
useful
concept.
to show the quality of the
Lab work as well.
Lab work. But then you can use a white background under. Yeah, this is. I just put the veneers. The softbox is oriented. Yeah, this third softbox, you can put it on a tripod, and you can find some tripods that you can change the angle of the adapter, so the softbox is horizontal, and you can put a plexiglass on top of the softbox, put the veneers, and have some light from underneath. This is nice. This is artistic. So as you said, you can detach, and you can lose hours and hours just trying to do this and that. To see the texture, move the sawbox from one point to the other. But that's not documentation. It's just you are playing with your instruments. You enjoy the photography.
Well, it gives you a lot of freedom of doing that if you enjoy your photography, because this is something that you cannot do with this standard ring flashes or even twin flashes. You are very limited there. And here,
and also you cannot do it with bigger gear, because imagine moving these big softboxes in a small room. Sure. And these photos, sometimes I take these photos. For example, I have my ceramics from the lab. The patient is late, or even if the patient is there, I just let my assistant prepare something, just like on my office. Just put the veneers, do some photos, and then let
Yeah.
the patient inside. So it's not really like produced photography, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like everything thinks that if you're showing this type of photos, oh, you had a studio, you have this. No. This is the power of Fixlite. It's everything is small. You can just play with it on just before having the patient inside, because this is the reality. We don't have time for that. Yeah, you don't have time to go in the lab, do a photo shoot, come back, postpone the patient. There's no time for that. The real world is not like this.
I would describe this tool as a kind of mobile dental photography studio that you can take anywhere you want.
It's a miniaturized
This is what I
studio.
feel. This is what I feel, exactly.
It's a setup calibrated for producing enhanced photography in the dental office and even in the lab, like we have
in
seen.
a very, very nice, complex package as well.
Indeed.
So, as you can see, I'm a huge fan of Fixlite, and I use it every single day. And well, all photos on my social media, on my website, are taken with this softbox. I tested it thoroughly, and I really, really, for my viewers, for our listeners, I can really confidently, recommend it to anyone who take dental photographs. That's why I asked Colin to prepare a special discount for our listeners. So with the link in the description and on my website, you will get 5% off orders over $150. Just one more important note, the link is valid for 6 days. Is that clear, Colin? From
After
the moment
click,
you click.
from the moment you click it, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And it should be used on the same device to be active.
On the same device. So remember that. Happy shopping. And Calinem, thank you so much for this conversation, for sharing so many practical tips and insights.
I think it was obvious that the pleasure was mine.
I mean, it was mine. I was really waiting for this conversation for quite some time, and I was having it in my mind to ask you for this conversation, because every single time I speak to you, personally, for example, it was at Passe, and this time I'm truly grateful for everything you say, because I also learn things from you. I do a lot of photography, but still I really need to improve it a lot, and your stuff helped me a lot. So I'm really, really grateful for what you do, for the whole dentist society.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And to you, dear listeners, thank you for staying with us until the end. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you.